not the point. Again, however you get into your thing, you know, I can get to that in a lot of different ways. But we'll start static just to kind of get us into this. My favorite spot, one of my favorite spots in the whole world, okay, is right here. Right? Now, a lot of people press there, a lot of people apply that. There's just a couple of different ways to do this that I want to clarify. So everybody take your middle finger and stick it in that little hole. Okay, push. It doesn't really hurt that bad, does it? Because that's not where the nerve is. Remember we said it's a nerve attack? Nerves run along the bones and in little creases. That's why we can't find them so easily. All right? These little spots. So the nerve runs along the bone. So what I want you to do is I want you to stick your finger in there, but then push it back towards the front of your nose. And you feel a little difference on that one. Right? So how I get there, all right, and we'll talk about application. I use my middle finger for a lot of reasons. Right? Here. I find that hole. I stick it in, all right, and then I do this. I hook it back towards the nose, right, this way. You okay?
Let's go back to the arms.
So from here, I usually come here, hook it in, put it right towards the front of the nose. All right. Now, what's interesting about this is his reaction will be directly based on the amount of pressure I put on it, right? If I do it relatively gently, get a reaction. Right? If I do it a little harder, his arms will go up higher. It'll be like, whoa, right? So depending on my intent, I can have a lot of good stuff. The good part about this point is if I push it up, he'll come up. If I push it down, he'll go down. It's a Christmas gift. You can't use his hands if he's right here. All right? If he does a choke, it's the same thing. Right? Understand when people do chokes, just to even clarify, right? They don't do the Frankenstein choke. How many times have you seen this in class? Right? Drives me crazy. Ready? All right. Choke. Right? Choke. Don't keep it out here. Choke, choke, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Other than the thumb, I have nothing. You want to see the best choke defense ever? Remember I said it's a really cool wrist lock defense when they do it wrong? Do wrist lock. Right? Oh, all right. Choke. Do the Frankenstein choke. Because no one chokes that in the real, unless they have you on the ground against the wall. That's different. But if they're going to walk up to you and they start choking you, they don't go. Right? And how many times have we taught a self-defense test against this? Ready to go. The hell is that? That's not even real. When someone chokes you, they hook their hands behind and they pull you into their strong zone. So when he does it, he pull you in to be strong. Because this is a position of strength. This is what gives me these opportunities. He's giving me my technique. I don't have to find it. Does that make sense? So you can do it against that. You can do it against, again, the lapel. Just to take home with you. Say, where can I fit this into what I'm doing? If you do wrist locks this way, right, and that's the way your instructor wants to do it, that's cool. Do it. If you have an option, right, to weaken the structure of that wrist so much more by touching here, here, and here. Does that make sense? Well, if I understand that this lock, adding just a little twist, activates the points and makes it even weaker. That's where we're going. Right? So I'll give you one more thing about it. So he comes in, right? However you get there. I'm going to go to the collarbone on this one. Right? It's right underneath the collarbone. It's underneath and behind the collarbone. Like a lot of times you get your big brother going, you know, somebody in school, right? Somebody, oh, that was fun. You know, and just being a jerk, right? Yeah, but there is a practical application to that. Go in through the collarbone. You feel a little notch right there. If you run your fingers right there, you feel like a little gully right there, a little hole. It doesn't have to be right on, but that gives you a good place to think about it. You go behind the collarbone and bring it back. Almost like the eagle claw kind of thing. All right? So you come in, however you get there, again, it's strictly up to you. Right? I like to hit because I like to get the reaction. But really all I'm doing is taking my fingers and raking them behind the collarbone and hooking backwards. Right? There's a nerve that runs behind the collarbone. That really people don't like when you mess with it, okay? Yeah.